when you got involved in the Disney funnel, was that a weird coincidence? Because I read somewhere you only did that because you were about to become homeless and you needed money.
We were, yes. Yep. We were, we were a very poor family growing up, and then we got money at one point, and then my mom got very sick, and my father, and all these other things happened. And then when we came up to LA, it just got harder and harder and more struggling. And then Shake It Up. And it wasn't like, I didn't watch Disney growing up. The Grudge was one of the first movies I really like saw and loved. Like I've only ever watched, and my sister actually loved Disney stuff, and I'm actually named after Belle. So really,
Incredible.
I'm supposed to be, but I just never did. And I was on Big Love at the time on HBO, and that was just like not really scraping us by at all. You know, when you're on like such a big show, so many members and da da da. Yeah, so amazing. And then it was like Shake It Up or. What's your other option?
Did you know about Big Love? We talk about that was the polygamy show, correct? Mm-hmm. It's a show about polygamy, and was it based in Utah? Mm-hmm. Well, it was. Mm-hmm. And what was your role in that again?
I played Tansy Henriksen.
Was it a Mormon?
Oh my God, the dog. Mm-hmm. Oh my God!
Was it a Mormon thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. It's a cool show. You should watch it. It's like really cool.
So we can talk about the trauma you've had in your life and you've experienced at such a young age. Was there ever a point where you made it per se and it made it better for you? Did your success ever give you a sense of relief?
Oh, definitely. When we were able to like eat lots of food, that was that was like different food, like it's quite hard to explain, but I did this KFC commercial, and so they sent us a bunch of frozen chicken, and so that was all we had for a while. And then these like Stouffer's like coupons that we got from this event, and then that, and so it was nice to like go to Olive Garden. And like
great
go, like do things like that. Like that was so cool. And I remember when my mom got me my first nice thing, like an MCM bag, and like that was such a cool, crazy moment of like, oh, we're able to do this kind of now. And then after Shake It Up, like obviously Shake It Up was a very short time, only 3 years, and so that then it was hard again for a minute, and then then it picked up again, able to make more money, and social media came about, and then I got an Instagram, and that started happening. So
even when you were making it, you were going through a lot of shit, and there's this clip of you, we don't have to play it, but this one where you were talking about you being abused at a young age, and this is actually when I reached out to you. How did that affect you being a young blossoming Hollywood star?
I mean, I think that it probably was one of the reasons why I felt like I was so drowned, and I was in such a dark place growing up, and I contemplated suicide, and there was just like a lot of things. And I think it was because it was such a crazy thing of like everyone knows everything about you, but this one thing that's so big and makes you literally who you are. It's literally changed me as a person completely. And it's happening for so long. And then all these people are around, and you're just hiding this big secret, and it's so weird, and everyone's just there, but nobody is saying, like, it just made me feel like I was literally encased in this, not a doll, but like this thing, and I'm literally like a Black Mirror episode, just like beating on the inside. It made me literally feel like I was completely drowning. And I'm writing this series right now, and I have a scene that like really totally puts the character very much there. And it's just this feeling of, I don't know another way to describe it besides like drowning, like right before you have a panic attack. Have you ever had a panic attack? So like the moment right before you have a panic attack where you feel like it's like, it's quite undescribable.
Yeah.
It's that's how I felt for a lot of my years growing up, because it was only when I was 18 and I moved out, he moved out a week after me. So it's like, so just crazy. I mean, like 18, like I was like hella famous by then. Like, what the fuck? Literally, what the fuck? It's so weird. You know, he's there the whole entire time. He drove me to set. He was, you know, in my dressing room. He
and you've
watched
never,
me on.
You've never revealed who this person was?
No. Yeah, I didn't. I talk about, did you read that one too in the book?
Can I ask why?
I don't know, but I think that one, it was already such a big moment for me to kind of go out about this. So then it was like, then they'll know what he looks like and they'll imagine it and they'll just put him there, you know, and I just don't really, I don't know. And in going after him, I talk about that a lot in the book too, of like this self-hatred I have because the police, you know, they make their victims feel like villains, and you know, so many people don't ever report the abuse, and there's not a question. Oh, why not? Why do you think? Of course, because of this system. And so for me, I have such a hard time. It's called selfish in there, and it's literally about me being selfish. I am selfish because I won't just put myself through the pain of describing every story in detail that I've spent so long trying to forget, and have reworked my mental brain so that I don't have flashbacks all the time. And to go back there again over and over and over and watch somebody look at you and basically has to question if you're lying at every point in time when you're just trying to tell your story, that I think might really hurt me on the inside. Like it might break me in a sense, you know, and I call it selfish. Yeah. Because it just seems very selfish, and I just have to give myself the chance not to be selfish.
Do you think you'll ever reach a point where, you feel like expressing yourself and just letting everything out will make you feel better to live the rest of your life with
I'm hoping that's what this book will do. You know, I've for so long have felt so like weird when all these people like, you know, I feel like so many people just hate me in a sense. And like, it's, you know, it definitely gets to me, and it's really hard because everyone around me is always like, well, if everyone just knew you, be like, they love you. Like, you know, you're you. And with this book, it was one of the things of, besides the mental disarray, it was kind of like, here I am. Read me like an open book. Like, I'm literally right here. Like, this is my mental shit. When Tana read some of the first few pages, she was literally like, you haven't even told me some of this shit. Why are you putting this in the book? This is so out there. And now I'm just like, hopefully that will make me feel better, because I really do feel like, you know, I never went to therapy, but like the first time I had to tell someone about what had happened, and then that was the worst time ever. The first time is always going to be the worst. So then if you talk about it more and more and more, and you almost, it sounds fucked up, but normalize it in your mind, it starts to hurt less every single time. And so I think that this will help me a lot. I'm hoping, of course, it will help other people, but it is selfish in the sense that this is, you know, I want this book to really help me mentally, like really, I don't know, like open my brain. I don't know. I guess I'm always searching for an answer, and, you know, I'm thinking maybe this book will be it. I don't know.
Do you have a message to any other girls out there that have had that happen to them? Do you have any words of, you know, courage or strength or anything like that you'd want to say to someone who's been through the same thing that you have?
As I was saying earlier, you know, you can't really give advice to anybody on this scenario without knowing the, you know, there's so many lines that you can't really give advice because everything is so unique. You know, you could say to somebody like, oh, well, tell your mom. Well, what if your mom doesn't believe you? Or what if your mom beats you for it? Or what if your father does this to you for it? Or, you know, oh, well, go tell this person. And what if that person tells the whole school? And then everybody thinks that you're this thing, you know, like there's, it's just really specific. But what I will say is, you just have to literally keep fighting, because there's too many times in my life where I thought that maybe fighting wasn't worth it anymore, but it just is. It is every single time. And after you get beaten down again and again and again, you have to just keep fighting, even when you feel like it might kill you, because what's better? Being yourself, being out of that situation, getting to live your life the way you should be allowed to and not be taken advantage of, or death. I'd rather fight this day to death than let it happen again and again and again, you know? And that is what I didn't do then. And I wish I had. And I was so young, and I was so like, you know, it started when I was the first time I can remember was when I was 6. And that wasn't the first time. That was after it had already been happening. So I don't know. But it was so normal that I didn't know it was wrong for so long. And that is something is so hard to mentally get past. That and Stockholm Syndrome are two of the most fucked up things that in this situation, you hate yourself for it. You feel disgusting, but you're not a bruised fruit. Your fruit is still beautiful. And you can still buy it at the supermarket. It's not bruised.